Hey guys, this video is going to be a bit of a departure from my usual videos. Some of you expressed interest in seeing some home improvement type projects, so what the heck, I know there's a million of them on YouTube, but I'll give one a try. So what I'm looking at here is my water feed from the city, water meter, and what formerly had been galvanized. The plumber just left a few hours ago, and we replaced almost all the galvanized with copper. Well, I shouldn't say we, I should say he. Did a very nice job, and he was very accommodating with explaining to me how this place was plumbed, and we kind of did some detective work about the history of how things are done and why things were done. I say almost all of it. Well, there's only one piece left, which is that, which is going up and up and up and up to the bathroom on the second floor. Only way we were getting that out was to, well, cut holes in walls. And someday I might, but right now, the main mission was accomplished. We have better water pressure for sure, and it tastes a lot better. So, like I said, someday maybe. Now, one of the things that have been driving me nuts about this place was when you'd open this back door, it would whack into this. You can see there's a dent on the door here. Well, while he was here, we were just trying to figure out, or I'd been wondering what the heck was this for. Well, he explained it. I was confused because here's the waste pipe, big cast iron pipe, 100 years old, going down to the floor. So what's this? Well, what I didn't know about was something I believe he called a catch basin, which, well, not to get too graphic, but the solid wastes from toilets and kitchens and whatnot, rather than sending those right out into the sewer pipes, they would go through these and again those down to the floor and back out. I showed in the video tour when I first got this place, there's an access way under here, under part of the building. Well, I'll open this door and show you. And there's a cover in there saying sewage. Well, that's the catch basin. And he said nowadays that's no longer required. They determined that it wasn't needed. That's that lid down in there. So one retrofit they could do someday is to just connect those two together underneath the floor here and forget about that catch basin. But anyways, so back to this point is what was this for? Well, it just goes back to here where there's some cut-off pipes. It's going to nothing. We figured the kitchen sink must have been up here at some point, and right now there's just some pipes left in the wall cut off here, and this goes to nothing. So we're going to cut it off back here somewhere and cap it off. He said if you just cut it off it'd be some nasty odors, which I don't doubt, but with this cut back and capped off, the door will open all the way instead of bashing into this. Oh, and here is all the pipe that was taken out. See how nasty and disgusting it was inside. So yeah, very glad to get that out. It's definitely worth the time and money to have done. And boy, is copper pipe expensive. I mean, I knew it was expensive. I knew there were thieves out there snatching the stuff up. Boy, I didn't realize quite how expensive it was. Alright, so what does all that have to do with anything? Well, while doing all this detective work, I noticed there was a line, a copper line, a thin copper line going down over to this box. Well, when the real estate agent was giving me a tour of this place, he mentioned it had this Aprileaire whole house humidifier system. Well, that's what that water feeds for. And then there's a big old pipe going down into the furnace. And eventually I found the control for it. Now I had noticed that it didn't seem to be doing anything because this place was bone dry. Well, when I finally found the control panel up here, I discovered it was turned off. Well, I tried turning it on, and yeah, water did start running into the thing, but the humidity was not going up at all. So, got online, found the owner's manual for it, and it said it should be serviced once a year. Well, judging by the dust on this thing, I figured it probably hadn't been in a while, so I pulled the cover off. Well, I'll show you what I found inside. It's a little hard to get the camera in here, but yeah, here's what I found inside. A lot of nastiness. That's the evaporative panel. Water drips down from the feet on top into this, which is supposed to be kind of a spongy material. This is completely calcified with minerals and just not doing its job anymore. So I went online, and luckily they sell a maintenance kit. I went on Amazon. It was around $52 or something like that. I could have just gotten the evaporative panel, but I figured let's just get everything. So new drip thing, this is what goes on top, I believe. And here's the evaporator panel, water panel, and owner's manual, and whatever's inside here. Inside that pouch was a new feed line and some parts. So I think the next step is to look through this manual here and maybe look for a tutorial online, and then familiarize myself with the old unit. See about taking it apart. So this must be that feed tube that they gave me a replacement for. And yeah, I could see I got a new one of these plastic gizmos up here. Oh well, I guess the old one comes out that easily. This might be even easier than I realized. I think maybe all I gotta do is disconnect this and tilt this back, and yeah, the whole thing just comes out. Well, this might be the easiest home repair yet, other than changing all the light bulbs. I swapped out the dishwasher soap dispenser. That was pretty easy, except the first time around I didn't tighten the screws down and some water came leaking out. That's a very, very common repair. Tons of videos on that, so I didn't see the point in me doing one. Yeah, this I think will be very straightforward. Now, one downside, of course, is, well, winter's over, so I wanted to do this just because I could. I don't want to forget about it until next year, but I'm not actually going to see any benefits of it for probably a good 6 months. Sometimes doing these projects off-season can be a pretty good idea too, because you can get sales on the parts, or if you need to bring in a professional, be willing to do it for a discount, like getting the furnace serviced, for instance. Don't want to wait until the dead of winter for it to go out. So here's the new panel, and I was wrong. This one is actually rock hard too. It's metal, probably aluminum, and it's got some type of coating on it that must wick up water. Otherwise this thing wouldn't work too well. I rigged up a floodlight so we can get a better look in here. And yeah, that's pretty darn nasty. Yuck. Yeah, that's really gummed up with crud. I can see right to a furnace. Or those are probably the AC coils, maybe. And down there we've got a little drain, and that goes around over into the sky. So a line going into here, which I believe collects condensation from the HVAC unit. Goes down to this, which I believe is a pump. And when this fills up to a certain amount, the pump will run. There's a plastic tube that goes around and 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 around, and it comes out here. That's what I talked to my plumber about. Just fine. That's fine the way it is, and it's utilities sink. But for a little bit of money. He didn't give me a quote yet. Could tap right into this and have it feed directly into the sewage. But, yeah, save that for another day. Right now, let's see about getting this out. So, gotta disconnect that plastic tube. I mean, I could reuse it, I suppose, but I figure there's a good chance it might be clogged up. Well, that goes down to this solenoid valve there, controlled by control panel, and there's the water feed. So, I gotta get this off. I think it's the only little tricky bit. So look at my bag of parts and see if they give me a new fitting. If not, I'll have to reuse the old one. And also double check that this line is long enough. Alrighty. First off, I just pulled out the plastic tubing right from this. No fasteners or anything, and then I was able to pull out that whole assembly. Put that on the side, and then I took a box wrench and undid this compression fitting and compared the length of the new one to it, and pretty much identical. And obviously got the yellow end that goes in there, so that'll be a problem. Now the other end will fit into the new plastic feed bit up there. Now that stuff in that bag is not what I thought. This actually goes on the other side. That plastic thing is what they call a line strainer, so there's really small perforations in it. So that's going to go on the other side of that solenoid valve. So the actual water feed side. And I got to do have the water supply turned off, otherwise it'd be water pouring out of that thing right now. So I think I'll do that next, and then feed in the new plastic tube. And I've also got to clean out that old box because it is just filled with crap down there. Okay, got it cleaned out. I used some spray 9. Did a good job. Get rid of all the old gunk. And I put a new drain cap thing down in here. Now here's a new line. I need to feed it down through that hole and then reattach the compression fitting. Now that little white plastic part there, I think it might be Teflon or some tough nylon. They did not give me a new one in the replacement kit, so I carefully salvaged it from the old line. Well, I'm hoping this is right because it's the only way I can see to put it on is that the wider end fits over the end like so. And the compression fitting will go over like that and squish it down as it gets tightened down. I threaded it down through the hole, and yeah, this has to be right. So the wider end goes on, compression fitting goes over like so, and I'll tighten it back down here. Now, it looks like that had leaked at some point in the past because you can see junk running down, so for sure I'm going to keep an eye on that. I just put together the evaporator pad frame. It's pretty simple. You shape a piece of plastic, you put the pad inside and snap the top down. And I use the original as a reference. And I noticed one distinct difference between the two. So the water comes in here, down into this pan, and then it has a synthetic fabric with little tabs that stick out, so the water will like weep down into these holes and spread into the pad. This old one didn't have it. My water will come down in here, and there are slots, so the water will go down in there. But I thought I was curious that it didn't have the sheet, so I don't know if the original one deteriorated or was removed, or if this is a newer design. Regardless, well, it's going to go in there. So, tighten down my line. I tightened it as tight as the original seemed to be, so hopefully that will be good enough. And then this simply fits up in here. There doesn't seem to be much holding it in place. kind of like so. And then this guy goes into here somehow. Might be a fitting that goes on the end. Or no, it just fits in there. Okay, yeah, that's it. And I'll bend this around. It's pretty stiff tubing. I'll break it. No, I still need to, so I was going to do it first, but I didn't do it yet, to take off the water supply. So I can put that little filter thing in there, and then, well, that should be it. I got it all back together, cranked up the heat and humidity, and yes, we have water. It is dripping, it is doing its thing. So, successful repair, and the excess comes out down here and goes around here. And I believe also when the AC is running, we get condensation going through here, it goes down to this guy, and when I get to a certain level, the pump should kick in. So, I've never seen this running before because it's been winter and really dry, and the humidifier wasn't working, so fingers crossed that this pump works. I noticed there's a little plug in the pump reservoir that you can pull out, and yeah, there's definitely water in there, but I don't think there's enough yet to trip the pump, so I figured, how about I add some, and let's see if it kicks on. And there it goes. Cool. And if we follow it around, yes indeed. So, cool. One less thing to worry about. Here's my other little home repair I didn't bother filming. I replaced this. The original soap dispenser was a mess. This had broken off and this plastic was all warped and deteriorated, I'm sure, from the heat and humidity over the years. It's a real common problem with these. Got a replacement for about 45 bucks on Amazon. Take out the screws around here, the whole front of the dishwasher comes off. Well, this panel down here, and then you remove a few more screws, take the old one out, pop a new one in, tighten it down real good, hook the wires up to it, and there you go. Put the soap in here, snap this down, and at the appropriate time in the cycle, this pops open, the soap comes out. So, bit by bit, things are getting better and better. Put a new aerator on the kitchen sink. So the water pressure's tolerable. It's not great, but we can live with it. We won't have to use this for the water filter pitcher anymore because this water tastes okay. So that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this look at servicing an Aprileaire whole house humidifier system.